everybody. We're doing Archdragon Peak today, I think. And I think we wanted to do Leonard's quest a little bit. Is that right? So let's start that off, because Sirius is dead, so there's no risk. Hey Delciel, hey Toby. Great to see both of you. Sorry I was late, but I really wanted to finish the timestamp. I'm super behind. I have a new position. It starts on Monday, so I need to know what my schedule will be like and then adjust Twitch schedule accordingly. So, this guy is new. Hi. Yeah, he's definitely passive. I forget who he is. This actually might be... what's her face? Yeah, I think this one's Hazel. For some reason I thought the Hazel one was over here, but yeah. It's a girl, Hazel. Hey, Hazel. I'll just leave her be. Note the animation was purple. And if, as we're talking about color coding in Dark Souls 3 especially, the purple is stuff to do with humanity a lot of the time. So let's give her a tongue. Nah, it's a she. It's she's spoke about as a daughter in the Farron something. Yeah, she's called a daughter in an item description. Wait, do I have to reset? Wait, why? Am I being invaded? Huh. Hey, Marcus. What's going on? Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, the hazel mangrove is probably why I can't pop it. I didn't want to kill her. I only did this this quest once, so forgive me if I am forgetful about what this quest actually entails. Huh. Well, sorry, Hazel. I didn't want to kill you because you were, you know, let bygones be bygones, but... Let me offer another one. It's probably because I don't have the full one. Oh, I love the Christmas Zarion Devil pick. I love that one. Let's go kill that Dark Wraith, because I think I haven't done that yet, now that I'm thinking about it. So let us go do... Let's go do that. Yeah, I did the Tongues Rosario. Sirius quest is done. I think it's because I didn't do the Dark Wraith thing. Let me go do that. come back, see if he spawns in. Because he's supposed to dynamically spawn in. Like, as soon as you give the tongue and you turn the camera around, he's supposed to spawn in right behind you and, like, be a jerk. Because he's really a nerd. Yeah, Sirius is all finished. I think I totally forgot to deal with the Dark Wraith, so... Let's go bully a Dark Wraith. You know, being fancy is going to get me killed one of these days. Again. Yeah, I mean, I've done it once because, again, I had to do it for Platinum, but, like... I did it once, Marvelous Chester wannabe, it's true, though. Oh, don't mind me, just an ordained nun here. Not in Kareem. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Not at all. Always be fancy. Never not be fancy. This is the lowest. There's something that confirms some of the stuff I've been saying in regards to Lothric, its place in the Abyss, and the Knights. Hey, Aegon, what's going on? I think I understand parries a bit better in Dark Souls 3 because of the 30 FPS. I think that's just me. Some of the stuff I've been saying about the Knights, all of these guys, like the Millwood Knights, there's nothing in these things. They're all hollow. And they're all headless, just like the Harald Knights, just like the Millwood Knights. This is the lowest point of Lothric proper. These flowers are all over the Ring City. It definitely suggests that this is the lowest part, and therefore has been kind of simmering in the Abyss the longest. Yeah, that place is the lowest there, and all of those knights got sucked into the Abyss a long, long time ago. And then it was the knights up here who got sucked into the Abyss, and Upper Lothric has not yet. Sort of like rising tide. But just like the Harald Knights before them and the Millwood Knights, they're just gonna get sucked into the Abyss and they'll come back as humanity sprites to take over their armor again. Alright, let's go see Leonard. The whole body, because remember what the Millwood Knight thing says? It says that there was a bunch of bodies, just armor, with no bodies, just neatly laid out. So the whole body and the whole humanity within that body and everything else gets sucked into the Abyss. The Harald Knights explain this a bit better. And then they get converted into their true shape, which is the humanity sprite. And then that humanity sprite comes back up and takes over the head. And the head, in some thoughts, like I think Nordic thought, the head is the seat of your soul. Unlike other cultures, like Egyptian, which says that the seat of your soul is the heart. But in Nordic thought, think Hellblade for this. The seat of your soul is the head instead. Yeah, so like they come back up as humanity sprites, and then like, oh wait. I think I have to see him in Firelink first. And then, like, they take back over their armor. But that's why the Lothric armor is so perfectly preserved in the places that they set down. It's as if somebody like just arranged it that way, but no. They sat down and then their bodies and their humanities sucked down. Yeah, they talk about the seat of your soul being your head in like Hellblade, and I had to like cross-reference that. Yeah, the edgelord Chester.
And if you grow weary of your duty, you too may become a finger. Come on, give yourself to Rosaria of the Cathedral
Yeah.
of the Deep.
In Egyptian culture, when you die, your heart gets weighed against the Ma'at feather. And this is actually where this saying comes from. If your heart is lighter than a feather, then you have no sin weighing you down. So when you feel as light as a feather, you have no burdens, which is what that all means. Yeah, traces of zombie mythology in the beheading. Sorry, I live in a city, so it's like there's always going to be somebody doing something outside. There he is. Look at this edgelord. Tired of holding up one wall? Road rash souls. It's Bloodborne cart.
So, you've chosen to serve Rosaria after all? She will be pleased with you for finding her another finger.
I'm actually really surprised at how much this little microphone picks up. Like, this is the microphone that came with the PS4.
Rosaria's fingers need only fetch tongues for their mistress. Otherwise, we are free, unchained. Like Yellowfinger, you can choose to believe that all fingers share camaraderie. But do not force your romance upon the rest of us. Rosaria's fingers need only fetch tongues for their mistress. Otherwise, we are free, unchained. You are free to believe that all fingers share camaraderie. But do not force your romance upon the rest of us.
So these guys are as kind of suggested earlier, is these guys are kind of the inheritors of the Brotherhood of Blood. Alright. Let's go back to Archdragon Peak, because I forget what the next step is to force her to be dead. Half dead. Undead? Somewhat dead. There's a dead in there. Edgelords. Yeah, and I think, like, that's kind of where everybody kind of gets, well, especially Hazel gets it wrong. Like, Hazel seems to want to have the Covenant be akin to Dark Souls 2's Blue Sentinels, which were all about dueling and stuff like that. So Hazel gives out the duel gesture because she thinks we're all comrades and I get to duel people. Meanwhile, Leonhard is like, I just want to kill everybody. Can I just kill everybody? But yeah, remember, Blue Sentinels in Dark Souls 2 are all about dueling, and then there's the Brotherhood of Blood, who just wanted to drench themselves in blood. Am I invaded or something? Nice name, SL80. Might as well grab this then. Hi. You want to fight? Alright, let's fight. I'm actually a pyromancer. Hi. Alright, you're a bit... armor. Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, I more or less like people in armor fights for the most part. Like humanoid bosses is what I like the most. Monster bosses aren't as good. I don't know. It's not that bad. I'm just bad at PvPing. And I didn't catch his lag. Yeah, Twin Princes is just the whole... that whole package is super good. So that's the Drakeblood Greatsword. We're gonna just open this up. Estrella is great. Looking Glass Knight is a good boss too. For me, I like... in this game, it's Pontiff Sullivan, Twin Princes, Frida, and Gale. And then Gale shares a moveset a lot with Orphan, so you can tell why I liked Orphan so much when I fought him. Nope. Nope. I should stop hanging around here and just go. Yeah, I think it's so weird. Like, I think the 30 FPS really helps my parry timing. Mostly because FPS is not just about the smoothness, it's about input lag. And so, for some reason, I understand the input lag on 30 FPS. So I had I was talking to Marcus W. Gray on Twitter yesterday, and I mentioned that the Queen of Lothric might actually just be a daughter of Manus. Never when you want. Why wouldn't a queen? Why wouldn't a daughter of Manus not have divine or hidden? Nashandra looked exactly like Dusk. And Dusk is highly linked to Ulasil, and Nashandra looked exactly like Dusk. Like, why wouldn't they just lie? Hell, Frida just lied. She's like, hey guys, I look like Velka. Untended Graves' real secret is that, hey, Lothric is already in the Abyss. There's no not stopping the Abyss because we're already submerged in it. Like, Dark Souls is like a lot of, hey guys, why don't we just lie? She could have looked like Dusk just to gain people's trust. There is that too. It's very... in that when Queen of Lothric just, quote, disappeared, she just headed into the Untended Graves because it was already showing that it was the closest to the Abyss, and she just pieced out into the Abyss. It's probably the simplest explanation I've come up with yet about the Queen of Lothric. You sound so pretty, but you're such a jerk. Yeah, choosing to be buried, or she just disappeared into the Abyss. If Untended Graves is the closest to the Abyss, with the second closest being where you fight the Dark Wraith. Aw. Everybody give a give a round of applause to the roly-poly guy. I mean, when I make a theory, I try and make it as simple as possible. I try not to go too far. You know, those guys are actually in Kingsfield, which is the most hilarious bit. They're actually bugs in Kingfield, but they do the same kind of, like, roll into you. I kind of want to make do something about FromSoft lore, just in general. Crowns, grass, and mushrooms or something. Well, see ya. Speed run hill! I want the Hevel pet rocks. Dragon no Jutsu. Look, it's Richard! FromSoft character du jour. Ah! Dang it! Richard! You did it to me last game! Just call it Richard's name like Michael does in Metal Wolf Chaos. Yeah, he just caught me. I think my computer dropped off of its Wi-Fi. I'm like looking over and there's nothing going on. I'll have to get to the next bonfire and restart Firefox or something. Yeah. Hashtag wrecked. But I got my Nikes on, it's fine. Feels Richard, man. Oh, that counter damage. Up Speedrunner's Hill. Got my Nikes. How did my souls end up there? Alright. Where are you, Richard? Who said? I thought it was 5 seconds, but I didn't think I even touched that area. Aegon, you should pick up like a Kingsfield game. If you can run it. Richard, come on. Jeez. Richard is buff in this iteration. They're on emulation. KF is on emulation. Pretty sure you can get them on your computer. Well, Richard, see you later. I'll see you next time. I really need to get an Elgato for my PS3. Yeah, he's still got that stagger. He's the worst part in the Chasm of Old, in Dark Souls 2. I hate fighting Richard in that area so very much. Alright, let me fix my computer real quick. Relaunch that. There we go. Alright. It's the run back that, like, Dark Lurker's fine, it's just the run back is just a pain in the butt. Well, whatever. Let's go pick up some things. My Claymore build on Dark Souls 1 did not let Richard and bully me around. But he's a bit faster in Dark Souls 2 and 3. Funnily enough, Richard is the antagonist in Metal Wolf Chaos. I think he's the protagonist in Echo Knight. I think Beyond. I want to say Beyond. He's in a few different games. Him and Michael. FromSoft character protagonists. Would you stop? I thought people were complaining that E&B was parrying too much. Hawkwood? Hawkwood's kind of... Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I wanted the slab. I'll bother not have a leader. Or now, so I can grab my souls. Hawkwood is a guy striving to... Hawkwood just... Let me back up a little bit. Some of this I'm sure you weren't here for. Hawkwood joined a group that wanted to feel special, right? Because being undead sucks. You're hunted, you're segregated, you're probably in pain all the time, and you're told you're not special at all, and you're hunted down. Even in Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, even Dark Souls 3, being hunted down by Way of White clerics is the thing du jour. So here is this group of people that want to feel special in Hawkwood's terms. And they become the Abyss Watchers, but he was too much of a coward to go through with it, so he flew the croup. Jeez, that's like no damage. Let's skip that one. But here, Hawkwood finds this thing that would make him really special, which is the dragon worship stuff. And so he really wanted to feel special. And so he finds the way, just as about the same time you do, and so with his latent desire to feel special, he decides finally to go do something about it. So he finds one, and you find the other, because you're both working at basically the same time. And so, in his desire to feel special, or to be someone, he tries to take yours. Hopefully that answers the question. Hawkwood's a guy who just wanted to be special in a world that tells him, no man, being undead is bad, and you should feel bad. Don't worry, guys. He's just sleeping. He's just sleeping. But even here, even in this memory, things are just dying because Filianor is dying. Or, well, rip me. Because you guys, because like I said, you guys find it at the same time. And the mountain itself deems you both worthy and gives you one of each, and then you end up having to fight the other one. Because it is a warrior caste. It's a warrior culture. And it's sort of like Highlander. Ah, damn it. Well, rip that. And, you know, this might be a real dragon, or a memory of a real dragon, unlike the dragons in the normal world ever post-DS2, because Archdragon Peak really isn't a post-DS2 world. And the worms in DS3 are more likely to be Aldean. I like Hawkwood a lot. Hawkwood is somewhat fascinating in that way because of all of that. He looks for a way to be special. You both find it at the same time, and then you have to fight for it. Uh-huh. You ate your stamina. Yeah, crestfallen. I think, isn't this the first crestfallen corpse we find in the game? Ah, thought that would at least hit him for counter. Stop breaking my lock-on, you jerk. Yeah. Ian B's been using a great shield or something, just because people have been complaining about him wanting to be fancy. Always be fancy. Yeah, smash cut back to that. Takes me a moment to adjust. Yeah, let gravity still, everybody dies to gravity. Ah, damn it. That's just too slow. What the heck was that? Your chain and the walls. Hey, Deva. I'm not sure if that was worth it, but it might have been worth it. Alright, well, time to put the Nikes on and boot through it. The time-honored Souls tradition of just trying to juke it. Everybody praise Filianor. I'm not that good at menuing. I don't play claws, so I can't like do the whole save quit like people do. I just have to dodge everything. Not that fast at the menuing. Alright, well. Filianor is the best. Everybody praise Filianor. Thank you for the Chloranthy ring. Alright, let me grab this. This is just what happens when you make everybody angry. So we got the Dragon Chaser's ashes. Vape Nation, I guess. I'm sure it already exists, because, you know, it is the internet. Filianor is like a triple reference. Because, like, in Kingsfield and Demon's Souls, you healed with weeds, with green grass. Thanks for the follow. My monitor went off, so I'll get the name in a second. Throwing around lava is a lot of fun, by the way. If you haven't thrown around lava as a pyromancer, I don't know what you're doing. Ego Border, was that you and the host? But yeah, like Villanor is like this triple reference, and it's funny how we didn't realize it sooner. Like in a lot of FromSoft games, Kingsfield and all of that, you healed with grass. And that goes on to Demon Souls, where you healed from grass. Airbnb, I think it's like Uber a little bit. So like you go on your phone or your laptop, and I think you have to like apply to that. You know, one of these days I'm gonna get through. Alright, fine. I should just summon Hawkwood. And let him be useless by being bait. I guess I'll do that. Where's Hawkwood's sign anyway? Just yeah, I just heard Hawkwood. Yeah, there we go. Alright, Hawkwood, let's go. Be my bait. It's so weird. No more juice. No more juice. Gotta drink some blue. Put on the simple. Oh, well, yeah. I expect him to be useless, but he is bait, so... I thought he was using a claymore from his model in Firelink. His model in Firelink is like, hey guys, let's use a claymore. All right, I got that. We got that, Hawkwood. Why are you doing that? It's cute. Leave it alone, Hawkwood. I guess those things don't like dark attack. When this is not buffed, it's a dark attack weapon. Yeah, I haven't paid attention to him. Let me see here. Kind of looks either like a bastard sword or a claymore. Let's go get our stuff, Hawkwood. How exciting! Yeah. So, I know how much you also enjoy Dark Souls 2. And I enjoy Dark Souls 2 lore after Shrine of Winter for the most part. Who wants to say that this is the same dragon from Ancient Dragon's Memories? The one that tells you, hey, that dragon over the Dragon Shrine's not real. Yeah, he pieces out. He's not going to fight Nameless King. In New Game Plus or Double Plus, there's a Havel's Ring right here. Yeah, like I've been playing Dark Souls 2 and into Dark Souls 3 pretty much back to back. So Dark Souls 2's lore is like super fresh in everybody's minds. Alright, everything up there is gone. Alright, let's really fight. Let's go fight Richard again. I don't think I ever tried it. Chronos Parallel? Interesting. I mean, if Lloyd was a real person... Can you summon Richard? Alright. This whole place is a memory. That's why I pointed out that this is the only place in Souls with a blue sky. Richard! That's Stagger, man. I come out to go aggro him and he already pops out his dagger. But yeah, this whole place is a memory. Memory shenanigans are pretty standard in Dark Souls 3, considering I think every place you go to is a memory, or some dude's personal hell. Richard's my brain in Dark Souls 2? What are you talking about? Of course he'd be my bane here. Funnily enough, he's a lot easier in Dark Souls 1. You done? Alright. That's enough of that. Some things that we picked up, so let's give them a quick read. Yeah, I wish there was more to the giant trees in Firelink. Red Eye Orb, which we picked up earlier. The Red Eye Orb is rooted in a tiny island swallowed by darkness long ago. Some choose to put the orb to other uses, to embark on this path, enter the service of Rosaria and the Cathedral of the Deep. Let's see here. We picked up Dragon Chaser's Ashes, holding a sword. Can't really tell what sword that is. Is that a Drake Blood sword? It's probably a Drake Blood sword. Umbral Ash of the fallen warrior who chose the path of the ancient dragon. With this, the shrine handmaid will prepare new items. Whatever it is sure to grant strength to the most unrelenting warriors. We picked up Ricard's rapier. I just call him Richard because that's, you know, a strikingly decorative rapier of an undead prince spoken of in ancient stories. Although many of the tales surrounding the prince are questionable, this thrusting weapon suggests that the stories of his graceful technique were, in fact, true. So Richard himself in Dark Souls pops in like 3 different places. In Sen's Fortress, in the Chasm of the Deep, which is probably the Dark Souls 1 version of Richard, just, you know, in the Chasm of the Deep, because warriors get sucked into the deep. I mean, not the deep, the Chasm of Old, because, you know, warriors get sucked into the abyss eventually. And our boy here, and the original rapier in Dark Souls 2 is in Huntsman's Copse. So there's all that. Why is he naked? Because he appears with elite knight armor in all the rest of his incarnations. So I wonder why they took off all of the armor. Because he usually pops in with elite knight armor. Alright, that's a... We picked up the Twinkling Dragon Torso Stone. Oh yeah, it's Richard because in other FromSoft games he's just Richard instead of Ricard. Every time I say that, it's just in my head I hear the voice actors in Metal Wolf Chaos going, Richard! So I just call him Richard. Twinkling Dragon's Torso Stone. Stone imbued with the power of the everlasting dragons, offered to a towering dragon. The stone shows signs of a nascent light. Gain the torso of a dragon and roar alongside an archdragon Mirage. The transformation is irreversible until death. Yet true imitation will require a dragon head as well. Oh wait, that's why he's naked. You have to be naked to use the torso and the headstones. So Richard is naked, but he can't actually use them because he has a crown. He's wearing a crown, and he won't take off the crown, so he can't be a dragon. You understand? You have to be naked because you have to be naked to use the stones. But Richard fails at being a dragon because he can't take off the stupid crown. So, there's Richard's lore. So he's let's talk about the summoning of the mendicants. The summoning of the mendicants is very similar to the Adjudicator Giants in the Ring City. Except the mendicants can only pull one warrior at a time, and the Adjudicator Giants can pull out, well, you can tell. He pulls out an entire army. Is it just coincidence, or are they connected? Loki! Hi, Loki! Remember, everybody, Loki has his own command. If you want to see what my dog looks like.
And I tend the flame to the very end.
Yeah, my dog. My dog desires pets, so he's right next to me, head down like Madeir. Yeah, in his defense, that crown's pretty nice. Alright, I need 45. Yep. Peace, discover, I know. Bearer, seek last. Since I sit on the floor to play games, my dog's like, hey, can I play now? Yeah, the Sentinels are fleshless. The Sentinels are just out and out phantoms, but the mendicants seem to be able to just pull out an entire person. It's funny that he's wearing Wolnir's crown because, like I suggested earlier, Wolnir's crown, the whole idea of Wolnir's crown is an idea of Wolnir interpreting incorrectly the ideas of crowns in Souls games. The big adjudicator giant. The mendicants are the cobra serpents that summon people in Archdragon Peak. What was I saying? Wolnir himself was a victim of incorrectly assessing, or interpreting things. Like, he heard that crowns hold power, because crowns, real crowns in Dark Souls, holds power to keep you from going hollow and suffering the curse, right? I mean, that's the whole point in Dark Souls 2. Crowns in FromSoft lore are in every game FromSoft puts out. But Wolnir heard that he should make crowns, so he went and conquered a bunch of places and crashed a bunch of crowns together, hoping that he would get the same power he heard about. Didn't work because Wolnir's an idiot. So there you go. So it's interesting that Richard has Wolnir's crown too. I love puns. Names don't ring a bell. Let's buy some fun stuff. So maybe Richard, since he was a prince, is a prince of Wolnir, like a son of Wolnir. They don't go into a whole lot of anything about Richard other than, hey, here's this Easter egg that's in every FromSoft game ever. Because FromSoft loves referencing themselves a lot, all the time. Sorcery, pyromancy, miracle. I have those. Well, I only call them mendicants because they drop the mendicant staff. Do I have anything else to pick up here?
Do not be gone for long.
Their staff is a rare drop, I think.
I suppose this means you're after sorcery.
Yeah. Like, remember, the rest of Wolnir's story is that the crown didn't work. So he grabbed a bunch of clerics, and clerics are probably the end game villain of the entire series. And clerics made his bracelets. And apparently that didn't work, but it did work somehow. And but it didn't work the way that Wolnir wanted it to work. So Wolnir became the High Lord of the Dark, or the Abyss, or something like that. It worked enough. We should pick all these things up to finish off his quest. Now that I'm starting to have the extra souls to do it.
Oh, I have something for you. You're a fine sorcerer now, no mistake. You should have something to prove it. Go on.
Calamite is worshipped in the area, so that might serve as a clue as to why.
How do you like gimmicks, friend? This is a sign.
Because you can sit in front of Calamite's
by sorcerers who use quietude
altar and get the ring.
With this, you can be sure to tell friend from foe from your very first encounter. It's a very old practice at this point, but one that you deserve to know.
So Orbeck got kicked out of his work study program, and he's giving us his rings.
In Vinheim, I was an assassin. A sorcerer only in name. A killer for hire.
Some work study program.
What a fool I was, thinking one day I would learn real sorceries. When I became undead, I was exiled from the school. But here I am, now, exploring the depths of sorcery. All thanks to you, I might add.
So, Adjudicator Giants are probably the OGest of giants. And then you have Hawkeye Go. And then you have the DS2 Giants. And then you have Yorm. And Yorm is as tall as the Giant Lord in DS2. Like, Yorm and the Giant Lord in DS2 share a very similar build.
Again, let us begin with debate now. Promise to stay safe.
And they do intimate that Drangleic lost that war, by the way, but only by adjusting collective memory. And in Dark Souls, memory is the history, and when you adjust the memory, you adjust the history. So you go and mess with the collective memory, aka through the Watcher trees, which is probably what the giant trees are actually for. The giant trees are actually for entering or keeping up with the collective's memory, or sort of like nodes. I'm just spitballing here. Tell me if I'm going way off the rails. But in Dark Souls 2, you enter 3 of those portals into collective memory, and you go and adjust everyone's memory by doing what you do in that place, by grabbing all those souls. And those are probably the same souls Vendrick had. And then you, instead of Vendrick, kill the Giant Lord. And then Drummond tells you that Vendrick pieced out, and it was supposed to be the very peak of the war with the giants. So, like, there's that. And Yorm and the Giant Lord share a very similar build. And then you get Yorm in DS2, who's like the last giant. Which is alienating unto itself. Yeah, keeping up with the Monarchs, the next exciting reality show from E! Entertainment. Let's go check out the corpse for Marcus. Is there a corpse by? I'd have to look at the kanji. I haven't seen the kanji in forever. Like, it's like I haven't seen the kanji for it since Dark Souls 3 released, really. Wonder if I can ask Ponce on Twitch, because he's bilingual, and he played the Japanese version when it came out because he didn't want to wait. I think what's more interesting about Yorm isn't because he's a giant. I think him being a giant is sort of a narrative prop to talk about the power of loneliness. Because remember in Dark Souls 1 and 2, they talk about how to be human is to suffer regret and all of these different emotions that are somewhat negative. Regret and guilt and all of that. Loneliness is just one of those, or another one of those sorts of emotions that you would suggest that they would, like, the Pardoners would be talking about, because it's the Pardoners who talk about it a lot. I think it's more interesting that he was lonely because he was a giant rather than him being a giant. Yeah, regret. I know there's a body with a ring in New Game Plus in Untended Graves right here, but is this the body we're talking about? Let me come over here to get a better view. Yeah, so maybe they took what they were going to do, or some version of what they were going to do with Gavlan, and just kind of moved it to Yorm. This guy's getting a suntan. And he's got his heart over his hand over his chest. Poor Gavlan. You know, I was talking about that earlier too, Ego Border. Like I was wondering if Yorm caused the profaned flame to go nuts because of his loneliness, which is a dark emotion, and then tried to stop it and became a Lord of Cinder, and it just kind of made things worse because the first flame knew he didn't really like the people he ruled, because the people he ruled were terrible people. And that's probably also why the profane flame only burnt the people he hated, because he was so lonely. There's little things about that, I think. Alright, let's go attempt the Nameless King. Nameless King is probably my worst boss. I don't think I've ever done it solo. So... like, I love the boss, it's just my worst boss. You know, yes, I think you can. In his second phase. Everybody say goodbye to the blue sky. In his second phase, you can parry him. It's just this is my worst boss. Oh, my stats are terrible in this character for anything other than my Onyx Blade. This is the face of a person asking, what have I done? Yeah, Sigward is everything Sigmire tries and fails to be. Because Sigmire wanted to find his own adventuring spirit and his own ability to do adventure, and he fails doing it. But while his daughter did have it, and Sigvard is like, I'm just gonna help my friend. I'm just here to help my friend. I'm not here for glory or anything like that. I'm here because I have a promise to keep. I wonder if that screen hitch is still here. There's a screen hitch while he's flying around that will always tell you when to dodge. Ah, why did it... ah, lock on. I hate you so much sometimes. See? Yep, there it is. This frame hitches will always tell you because it's loading a hitbox to dodge out of. Eep. I didn't know what he was doing there. Yeah, there it is. That frame drop? I love it. It tells me exactly when I need to dodge. That frame drop is so stupid. So everything is dark. Everybody's mad that their sunny day and their picnics is done. Oh, it's probably a one-hit kill because I'm a squishy caster over here. Yeah, I'm a squishy caster. Who should actually be casting, but I figured I'd wait. See if I get into the second phase to do all that. Take your chicken bird. Ah, I messed up that time. It's probably a drake. It's more of a... It's very chicken bird-esque. Ah, I just misread. I misread that. Yeah, Onyx Blade is a special weapon. You cannot resonate. It's either a dark or a fire attack. And it's not doing too badly. I just have to find a place mid-battle to rebuff. It's so generous of them to stick the souls right there. Everybody, I like the theme music for this fight is very reminiscent of Ornstein, the real Ornstein, because the real Ornstein is a musical composer, and he does stuff like this. He's still alive too. Yeah, he doesn't like the buffed version. Remember, Leo Ornstein is the name inspiration for our boy Ornstein. King of the Storm does not like fire Onyx Blade. Jeepers. Yeah, I could cast Lightning Blade. It's just damage types switch when you buff Onyx Blade. When you go into fire form, it's a fire form, and when it's normal, it's a dark weapon. But for the most part, I was just misreading King of the Storm. Again, this is my worst boss, so... Hi! Nice crown. Looks like somebody I knew. He messed my timing up. But yeah, King of the Storm is very much like Leo Ornstein's music. You should look up Leo Ornstein. Thique, because we're being fancy. He is a king after all. Yeah. He messed up my timing. You can only get hit like 3 times. Oh, Moobot. You're the best. Yep. Alant was also pretty wind-based. Ah. What are you doing, chicken bird? You know, even the Bed of Chaos saved your points when you were fighting Bed of Chaos. Like, if you got only one of them, you'll come in with only 2 left. No, his is actually darkening. It's becoming nighttime. He does a lot of the same thing that command grabs. Dark Souls command grabs. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl is really cool. I need to put a couple of things. Switch some things around here. Quetzalcoatl? Yeah, the TL is a Te. Cholo Te is XOLOTL. Quetzalcoatl. Chicken bird! Funnily enough, you fight this dragon like you fight every other Dark Souls Dragos, and then you get punished for fighting him like this with Midir. Two, three, four, five. Yeah, like, Midir will punish you if you try to fight him like any other dragon in the series. Like, I think he's designed to do that. You have, because Midir wants you to stay in front of him and dodge straight backwards. Whereas every other dragon in the series, you just kind of hang out below them. You hack at their legs. It's very interessante. I thought I missed that. He is messing up my timing. He's just weirdly slow. Like I want to just dodge faster than he's actually hitting me, and he's roll catching me. Oh yeah, Mercury. Mercury. I speak bad Spanish. I understand it better than I speak it. Which is funny because I grew up in a bilingual household, and it just didn't stick the way it probably should have. Ian B complains. Did Ian B start fighting Madeira today, or what? Because I missed the VOD today. Thought I dodged the... Damn it. Early on that. So did he start trying it on stream, or did he decide to not do it on stream? Huh. Yeah, I missed it. I'm gonna have to watch that later. I had to condense a whole week of errands into a day today. I kind of wish he fought him before they nerfed Madeira's HP. Every time. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, you saw how the movement that was cued right after I came out of the stagger. That was a cued roll. Well, NK was probably really swole. Like, he was probably super swole. Even before he got kicked out of home and got disowned and stuff like that, he was the god of war. So, you know. He does not skip leg day. That's for sure. How is he this weak to fire? That was just still within. It didn't even let me finish the animation. Turning into ash. Yeah, he doesn't even wear a saddle. I mean, come on. I mean, look at Daenerys Targaryen. She has to hold on tight. Don't skip leg day, everybody, and you'll look like Nameless King. Alright. I dodged that. I hate command grabs in Souls. That cute roll there. Alright, that's fine. He's just roll catching me all over the place. I had to slow the roll. Yeah, fading memory. Oh, I don't know if Aegon's still here, but yeah, he's like roll catch king. He's like, nah, man, you're not gonna be rolling, not today. Get a shield, scrub. I'm gonna try and parry him next time. But yeah, we pretty much deduce that the enemy fading into ash kind of animation, especially when they're not going to leave any rule, like any bodies behind to mess with, are just fading into memory. They're just ash. 3, 4, 5. He's probably packing or something. Or he got sick of waiting for me to, like, kill Nameless. I was early. command grabs. Chicken! Chicken King. Chicken King. Yeah, F, he got me in that command grab. I have not figured out how to get it. Like, I know you have to dodge into it, but I keep dodging either slightly too ahead or just after. And I keep getting hit by it. Ooh! How'd it turn out? Yeah, that was a terrible dodge. Yeah, I'm just gonna take that fire. Bob. His name would have been Bob. Damn. I feel like I should just start this over. Even though the RNG was pretty good. You have all these, like, names like Guinevere and... Yeah. I was just not into it that time. I had two little Estes, one nameless anyway. But yeah, like, Bob. You have all these names. They're like Gwyn, Guinevere, Medea, Shira. And then you have Bob. Bob, Bob, Bob. But yeah, it's probably Gwyn something. Or something relating to Gwyn. Hell, Medea even took a name that might also just be another name for Medea. I mean, Gwyn. Ow. Damn it. I was expecting to visceral the chicken. Gwynsel? Gwynsel. How many names are there that like start with Gwyn? There's like Gwyn, Thor. That's like Nameless King. When he's all by himself in the bathroom, and he's like, "Man, I wish I had a better name." I got stuck with Bob. I really wanted Thor. Then I'd have movies. comic books. I throw around a hammer. Instead I get this stupid spear thing. Yeah, Nameless King's better. Broke lock on. Stop breaking lock on, Nameless King. I need it. Yeah, Nameless King is like what you would write when you're going through your teenager phase and you're like, man, I want a cool name. My skin's already black and charred and stuff, so... Thought I dodged into that. I was late. Damn it. I had a really good string there. I might need to be in fire form for that. Because I think he probably takes a bit more damage with the fire on than not. Yeah, I felt definitely out of rhythm with the... I didn't even want the visceral, I just wanted to hit him a couple times, but hitbox. Eat it, King of the Storm. Man, King of the Storm just chomped to Onyx Blade. Alright, it healed me after. Ah, damn it. That was early. It queued a roll and it killed me. Welp. How's the damage there? Because I mentally block out pretty much everything. But the character I'm fighting. I even kind of mentally block out my own character. Nah. I mentally just kind of block it out anyway. Music is fine. Sometimes the music actually keeps me in rhythm. Like a metronome. I'm just being too anticipatory, which has been my problem the entire playthrough. Like, whenever I miss a parry, it's because I've been anticipating it too much. Yeah, I'll give it another shot tonight. It is getting late. Oh, I thought it was early there. Yeah. Like, the real thing about 60 FPS and 30 FPS isn't about, like, how smooth it looks on screen. It's because FPS also kind of governs input lag in a lot of games. So, like, the reason I can hit parries a lot more reliably in 3 is because of it, but, like, I've been really anticipatory here. There's actually a neat video about that on Digital Foundry's channel, I think, with regards to Destiny 2, because they were talking about FPS and in the competitive space. It's 5 rolls straight away, any which way, to, like, miss. Damn it. Andre can only do that when he's hammering really, really quickly. Only when he hammers a million miles a second will Firelink shatter. Damn it. Nameless, you win this time. So funny, like, King of the Storm is nothing but a formality for the most part. It's like, Nameless is luck of the draw for me. I'm gonna go one more time. See if we can't get an actual attempt out of him. Next stream will be the Dreg Heap and Probably the Dreg Heap. Dreg Heap's really big. The Ring City itself is pretty large also. Chicken, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? And dodge. You know, longest greatsword in the game still whiffs on King of the Storm. Yeah, it's really easy to just skip pretty much all of the Dreg Heap, but like, because I even know the speedrunner jump, but like, it's a lot to explore through. And it's a lot to talk about, because a lot of people complain that there's no answers in the Ring City DLC, but I think there's a lot of answers in the Ring City DLC. It's just not written up in neon. Hell, it's like there's a lot of self-references to other FromSoft games in the Ring City. Like, Old Moonlight is the model for Kingsfield 2's Moonlight Greatsword. And you know, there's just like Kingsfield references and all that. Come on. Jeepers. Nameless King, I guess you win for now. Yeah, Old Moonlight is, like, it's even really cheeky. Like, its item description is really cheeky about what it's referencing. Yeah, I like the way you put it there. It's a soft whisper of every question except Lloyd. And like, yeah, there's a lot of answers in there, and it kind of disappointed me from a lot of places where the initial reaction after I came up out of my hole, finished writing Syzygy, that people were like, no, I don't like it. Didn't answer anything. It answered so much. Yeah. Like, the rings... If you watch my my Ring City playthrough on YouTube, I'm just super hyped about all the lore that came out in the Ring City. And after thinking about it even more, even after I finished writing Syzygy, there's just so much that is answered, but because it's not overt, I guess it's just missed. Yeah, nature of the abyss. What happens to the Lothric Knights? Why they are pretty much empty shells? What happened to the Millwood Knights? Why were they empty shells around their tree? The nature of the dark sign. The nature of Gwyn's real politic. The probably even the real first sin, which might actually just be fear, greed. The first sin might even just be greed. The greed to want to keep your power, to create a legacy in your own visage. Because remember, Gwyn created the Way of White and asked his children to shepherd it, so that they created history. They created, like, history is written by the victors. Gwyn certainly considered himself the victor, but he was thinking in the future and stuff like that. So, like, maybe the first sin was greed. And maybe Patches himself is a personification of that sin. But next stream, I'm going to put off Nameless King. I know I could probably beat him, but it's already 2 hours and 15. So, call this the Ballad of Nameless King. Like, it will, like, I had an entire video just dedicated to trying to beat Fume Knight. Anyway, so I'm going to head back to Firelink. So, like, there's a lot of different answers that are there. I think a lot of people were mad that they weren't the answers they wanted. But there are answers there. Filianor. Who and what Filianor is. The goddess at the center of all of Dark Souls. If you go back to Dark Souls 1, the Chloranthy Ring, the Grasscrest Shield are everything relating to that we find out relates to Filianor in Dark Souls 1 are already described as ancient. And if we accept Dark Souls 1 as the first cycle, the first new cycle, then how is it that Filianor stuff is already ancient? It's because it came out of the Ring City.
Oh, you've returned. I was hoping to see you. That crestfallen asshole, he handed me this. He's changed a great deal since he left this place. Raven of face. He asked me to give it ye.
Thanks.
Well, now that task is concluded. What began
Like,
today?
all of Filianor's stuff, like Grasscrest Shield and Chloranthy ring, and all that stuff. All described as ancient in Dark Souls 1. So this is stuff that is fitting together quite nicely. I'm gonna go mess with Hawkwood while I talk, I guess. Yeah, no, it does sound like arsehole. And like the nature of Filianor in the ontology of Dark Souls. Like I described this, I don't know, it might have been last stream, it might have been a couple of streams after. Observe the stamina bar when you run. Alright? Observe that, like, observe the stamina bar. After a while, you'll see it pop in to warn you that you're out of stamina. That warning... Now imagine a cycle. Yeah, it's green. Besides it being green, imagine a cycle. Let me actually turn on the HUD for a moment. Let me try and remember where the HUD turn on thing is. Alright, so imagine the beginning of a cycle. You have full stamina. You're run by Filianor. Filianor is refreshed. And then the cycle goes, stamina depletes, and then when you start getting a warning, that's when the curse of the undeath happens. Because Filianor can no longer keep people living in the way that they are lied to, right? So they start to revert to undeath. Because Aldia tells us that this form, the form that we choose to take, is a lie. Hollowing is a lie. Living is a lie. Your only truth is the humanity sprite. And this is all like a simulacra that the gods wanted us to have. And so, as you go down the stamina bar, as you go down, then the fire fades and it's dead before it bounces right back. It stops you from running. So if Filianor is a stamina bar for the world, for each cycle, everybody has learned to stop and to refresh the fire and link the fire right about here, and it bounces right back up. We go all the way to 0, and that's when Filianor dies. That's when the fire ends, and that's the darkness after you kill Gale. Like, Filianor is intrinsic to the world and to the ontology, and like, she is the world's stamina bar, and when you wake her up, stamina bar is over. It's done. Everything's done. Let me quickly go mess with Hawkwood. And it makes a hell of a lot of sense that all of her items, every single one, grass crest shield, blooming green grass, regular grass, chloranthy ring, all of it has to do with stamina regeneration. It's for life regeneration, and it's for the regeneration of each cycle. It's like it's very fascinating to see that Filianor has had a place in the world since... I'm just checking damages. 122. Once again, chaos wins. You'd have to talk to me more about that. Because it's intriguing. I'm early. Yeah.
But I am the true dragon.
Like, I try to put things in a very understandable way, even though, like, my ideas are just way out there. Yeah, I was just getting partials and not getting the parry. But it's definitely something to think about, because we already know what kind of a goddess Filianor is. And so we already know the origins of probably some of the most used equipment in all of Souls. Hi.
This shall be no petty theft. As the true dragon, I shall take
You already took it, you jerk.
mine.
That's the second time I've misread his jump attack for something else. I tried to parry there, and I popped the weapon art. I mean, he knows how to breakdance.
You are a dragon. More dragon than I.
Nerd. And in the end, a guy who just wanted to feel special had it within his grasp, but his greed to have them both undid him. Because he wanted to feel special, and he didn't know when to stop grasping for that specialness. He couldn't just let you have one and him have the other. He wanted to feel special, and he wanted to be the only one to feel special. So, there you go. Greed rears its ugly head once more. And then he gets parried to hell. Alright guys, so yeah, he was a completionist. He needed platinum in his being game. Like I take a very dim view with regards to Gwyn. Like, I feel like he's the ultimate villain in Souls because of his greed. Because the real tragedy in Souls isn't the friends we made along the way, quote unquote. It is the future that was denied to humanity and erased from humanity because of Gwyn's actions, because of Gwyn's fear and Gwyn's own greed. Because of his fear and his greed, humans weren't allowed to take on their own age. So we'll never know what that age is going to be like. We have interpretations of that age. Uria's interpretation, Aldia's interpretation, Koth's interpretation, but none of those are right because we'll never know. Koth, Koth didn't even know how that age was supposed to be. All he knew was he needed it. Yeah, Koth is greed. Koth is the embodiment of greed. I mean, the silver and the gold serpent rings. One is Koth and the other one is Frampt. I would say Frampt is the gold one and Koth is the silver one. But nobody, not even the serpents, not even the primordial serpents, knew what an age of humanity would have looked like. And because of that fear of the unknown, they stopped us from having it. They erased our own history, even humanity's own accomplishments in the Ring City to take down the dragons, the everlasting dragons, aka the Ring Knights. And Gwyn put a seal of fire on them because he didn't want to let go of his power. I don't take a very, very bright view, pun intended, about Gwyn. I just don't. Yeah, it's very King Allant, because King Allant, he wanted the best power for his people, and then he sold his soul to the Old One. Recurring theme in Kingsfield games too. They all sought, I think I'm watching Kingsfield 4, Dave Control's LP of Kingsfield 4, and the idol of sorrow was brought up by one of the kings because reasons, and you're charged with bringing it back. You're a prince charged with bringing it back. Gwyn has his tragedies. Gwyn has his own tragedies. There's lots of tragedies in Dark Souls, but I think the biggest tragedy really is just the what could have beens. And every other tragedy, including Gwyn's own personal tragedies, were because of fear and greed. Gwyn, let's go back to Gwyn real quick. Gwyn had a crown that was warm to the touch. It had the same power and ability as Vendrick's crown, or the crowns of the kings in Dark Souls 2. Gwyn didn't know this because he was first. And like a dumbass, but with his own culture, he took the power of the crowns piecemeal and he shoved them into different places. The Ring of the Firstborn is one of them. The Sun Princess Ring is obviously another one. Actually, Sun Princess Ring is probably the most obvious because, look, it says that this ring is vaguely warm, like a beam of sunlight. But what else is vaguely warm, denoting its power? The crowns. So Gwyn took his crown, and he took the power in the crown that prevented his own hollowing. He didn't know that. He stuck it in the Sun Princess crown. He stuck it in the Ring of the Sun's Firstborn. He probably even stuck it in the Dark Moon Ring, which I don't have yet because reasons. And then his crown ran out of power, as per the item description in Dark Souls 1. But he kept it anyway. But he didn't know that without that power, he was no longer protected from going hollow, which is probably why Gwyn went hollow to begin with. He didn't have any power in his crown anymore, so he went hollow. That's his personal tragedy. We can have Gwyn's crown. You can get it in New Game Plus in Dark Souls 1. So you have to finish it, and then you have to buy it off of Domhnall. It looks just like Nameless King's crown. Except, I think Gwyn's is taller. If you can believe that, by the way. But yeah, it's in New Game Plus, and then you have to buy it off of Domhole. But yeah, that's like Wynn's own tragedy, and he brought his own tragedy about because of his fear and greed. Like Wynn brought about his own tragedy, but there's lots of tragedies, but it's all about that. Yeah, I announced it. I got it done. We did 2.5 hours. We did like an hour of trying to fight Nameless King. But he is my worst boss, and everybody realizes that now. Of any references I wish that came back in Dark Souls 3 just randomly and without really reason is Xena. But I take a dim view for Gwyn. I respect his real politic, but like I take a pretty dim view on Gwyn. Hey Hunter, you still streaming? I'll just send everybody over there. And it's funny, I wouldn't have this understanding if it wasn't for Dark Souls 2. Like, Dark Souls 2 is really informative for the ontology of all of this. It's just like, without DS2, like, these answers in DS3 wouldn't make sense, I think. But, yeah, okay. Me and this knight want to know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about. Yeah, we're just wrapping up, Hunter. I didn't have that much time because, like, I got started late. Things we learned today: fire version of this sword wrecks the King of the Storm, but for some reason, my dodging is way off for Nameless King. Thank you very much for joining me. And praise the sun. And I will see you guys next stream. Take care, everybody. Hunter, this is not this is not Drakengard 1.